The Minister of Local Government Affairs will now have to decide on a new mayor for Portsmouth. The mayor's seat became vacant following the resignation of Errol Hill last month. District Development Officer for the North is Steve Joseph.
The vacancy was created as a result of the resignation of the mayor of Portsmouth, and that took effect on June 1st. The council then proceeded to meet on June 2nd to elect a mayor according to the law. The council met about 6:30, and all councillors were in attendance, all 13 councillors. And the meeting voted twice to select a mayor, and in each case, the votes were 6-6, and one abstention in the first case and one spoiled ballot in the second case. So given that tie, a mayor could not be declared or a chairman could not be declared. The law also makes allowance for the council to forward requests to the minister for her to select the mayor or the chairman. And that is where the process is at. The council is now in the process of engaging the minister responsible for local government, who will then take the process from there. The option, however, is that she may decide, or she may want to refer it back to the council. So that's where we are at this time.
And how long will the minister have before she selects?
Well, there is no stipulated time given the minister in the law. So as soon as she gets the letter, I guess she will begin to act on the request.
District Development Officer for the North, Steve Joseph. A strategy plan for the next 3 to 5 years for the Public Service Union is among matters to be discussed when the union meets at its 5th biannual Delegates Conference on June 10th. The conference will be held under the theme Uniting for Survival and Prosperity. General Secretary of the Public Service Union, Thomas Letang, says a new executive for the union will also be elected at the conference.
Some of the highlights of the program will be the executive report for the 2 years. We will highlight some of the successes of the union during these past 2 years. We'll also be having election of a new executive to serve for the next 2 years, and some former executive members of the union, and those who have served the union well will be honored on that day. A total of 4 people will be honored for their contribution to the union over the years. Another highlight will be the possible amendment to the Constitution, which will allow members who have retired, who are no longer employed, or to continue paying their full subscription. It will allow them to enjoy all the rights and privileges like all other members, including the right of holding or the opportunity to hold position on the executive. That itself will allow for a structure within the PSU comprising of pensioners or retirees. We are hoping to, following our discussions, that we will, when we are reviewing the conference itself, that we will take all the suggestions, all the recommendations coming from the members into consideration, and that will help us to develop a strategic plan for the next 3 to 5 years. So these are some of the highlights of the conference.
General Secretary of the Public Service Union, Thomas Letang. The Dominican National Council on Women says it is deeply saddened and concerned about the recent UNCEF report, which revealed an increase in sexual abuse against girls and young boys. President of the DNCW, Josephine Dublin Prince, says the information of the abuse on young boys by women is alarming. Mrs. Prince is calling on all parties to ensure that these inhumane acts against young persons are dealt with.
Most alarming is the fact that the victims are adults whom they the perpetrators are adults whom the victims knows. The adults who through their action have psychologically and emotionally affected the lives and future of the adolescent boys and girls. The Dominican National Council of Women condemn this inhuman act against young boys and girls and call for the perpetrators to be dealt with severely with the full strength of the law. Every child has the right to live a life free from domestic violence, to include sexual violence. Therefore, we are calling on all concerned parties, the parents, the communities, the social services, the police, the school, to take note and to work towards further discussion on the matter to find ways to rid our communities of such inhuman acts and to assist the victims through therapy or counseling, and to have community discussions using the media to discuss such issues. Young children, all children, boys and girls, need to live a life free of violence, as was said, and the environment needs to be created to ensure the fulfillment of their own development.
President of the DNCW, Josephine Dublin Prince. A community tourism association for Dominica is expected to be launched here today. Tourism Minister Ian Douglas says today marks a great day for tourism in Dominica. He says the launching of the community tourism association holds tremendous potentials for the development in the tourism sector.
Well, that association exists throughout Dominica. We're just doing the launching of the Community Tourism Association in Granby tomorrow. But I believe that that Community Tourism Association, like I said, holds tremendous potential for the development of the tourism sector in Dominica. I believe that, like I said, every one of the communities around Dominica, every one of the small communities and villages around Dominica have those touristic attractions within them. And it's up to the community to get together and identify areas in which they can package their tourism attributes. Some of them are better at culture. For example, we have the places like Granby again and Paybush and those places that we know as icons of our cultural art forms. We have other areas that we have our waterfalls, we have and our rivers. Again, we have other areas that we have, like in the whole Roseau Valley area, we have our hot springs like Tia's and Tikwe Glow Show and Screw Spa, Shangri-La and all the other areas. Even places like Marigat and Wesley and stuff have their own unique tourism attractions that can be developed. Lately we have heard the Wesley Improvement Committee speaking about all the various attributes that they possess up there, and then their enthusiasm about working with the Ministry of Tourism to develop those tourism attributes. And we can go on and on. In Benz we have Shodor, the Shodor pool or the Shodor pool that the Benz and Ansdime people continue to boast about and seek government assistance to develop. And I believe that every single community in Dominica possesses that kind of potential for community tourism development.
Tourism Minister Ian Douglas. The SFA 2006 Tourism Sector Development Program is a 2-year program aimed at improving the competitiveness of the tourism sector in Dominica through capacity building, marketing and rural tourism development. The recently established Dominica Community Tourism Association is set to be launched formally this afternoon at the Geneva Heritage Tourism Park in Granby from 3 p.m.